Hola, ¿cómo estás? How's everybody? So I figured I needed to do a video. Non-political video for my Facebook friends and family. Just to get it out, just a little. My day today, very tired, pretty long, very interesting. But overall, very blessed. It's my life. I love my life. I love breathing. I love loving. I love getting to know people. Seeing what, life just holds every now and then. Every hour, every second of the day. And as I'm talking, I didn't have the proper mic installed in my camera. So now I have a better sounding voice and probably I'm coming out a lot more crisper and clearer. So, non-political, my day is always very interesting when people ask me at work, Kuya, that's a nice name. Where's it from? Or, you have pretty eyes. You probably know that. Especially when you're feeling really crappy. That's my expression sometimes, to myself, of course. Someone on the bus on my way home today started a conversation with me, and I'm definitely not feeling conversational type. I'm on my phone, I'm playing a game. Not that I'm feeling bad or angry or negative in any way. I just wanted my solitude. But he strikes up this conversation, and he keeps on. And he's a very good-looking guy. He's about the same height as several of my very tall brothers. He just engages me, and he's asking these personal questions. Very simple guy. And I was a little shocked, and he wasn't coming on, definitely not. But I found it very interesting. Living in Philly, there's two big racial cultures and groups. You either have mixed whites, European ancestry, or mixed African Americans, and then you got these little pockets of little different types of people. Well, you also have a fairly kind of big Middle Eastern, maybe Islamic groups here. And I know for a fact because I'm a barista, I work for Starbucks, and I see them constantly on a daily basis at a very big and busy Starbucks in Philadelphia. Anyway, this guy starts up the conversation, and he's asking about my phone, he's asking about the game that I'm playing, he's asking about what kind of music I like, and I'm playing my game, I'm answering him very nicely, I'm engaging him, and I'm smiling at him, and everyone's on the bus is interested in knowing exactly where is this going and why this guy is asking all these personal questions. And he says, we get into music because he brings up some rapper named Ross something or another, and he said he was more like him, and he asked me if I knew who this person was, and I said, oh yeah, isn't he from the 80s? And he says, no, he's a modern rapper. And I said, oh, well, I don't know. He's like, oh, you probably don't like rap. You like rock. Or then he starts like naming all these like and singing all these country tunes. I'm like, no, no, that's not me. And though I do appreciate a lot of different types of music, I love world music. I like folk music. Country, it depends what kind of country. And the same thing for hip hop and rap. And I grew up on, like 80s music and 70s music. So we keep having this conversation, and until he gets out of me what kind of music I like, and I said, well, I like world music, really, and I said to him, I like native music. He doesn't get it. He keeps he keeps saying, oh, well, like he throws out like some Johnny Cash title or whatever. So he's assuming that I am white. Tan and everything. And he continues, and I don't stress the fact that I like world music and native music, tribal music. I just keep playing my game, and he just keeps talking, and he wants to know where I work, and I told him where I worked, and he asks me if I like my job, and I'm like, yes, and I give him a little hint of what my job is like and how I take it, and he tells me he has 3 jobs, and I'm like, yeah, that's what we do these days, to really survive and make a living, and so he continues talking to me and wanting to know a little more about me, and I said to him cordially, I said, well, you seem like a pretty decent guy, and what you do as a person who works at Lowe's and who's also a security person, it's not very different from what people in my family and people I know do. So I kept it on a family level, and I said, since he was personal, I said, my brothers are about your height, and and they do rough work, and so I know where you're coming from. So I forget how we got into the whole cultural thing, but I said to him, I'm American Indian, as I always write on the census. Now that I know better how to identify myself. And it kind of like went over his head a little bit, because he just looks in my eyes, and everyone that's listening to the conversation just looks into my eyes, and they're waiting for my response. And I just I'm listening, I'm smiling, and I go back to my game. Okay, my stop is coming up, and he's asking me, where do I live? And I said, I live here in Philly. And he tells me, oh, I'm going to get off at 52nd Street. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's great, that's cool. So obviously he's going to ask more personal questions. So I'm just all ears. And he continues then to maybe assume, what kind of person I am then at this point. But he gets nowhere kind of near exactly, what I'm all about. But he's very nice. He's really, he just wants to talk. He's very simple. And I indulge him in that. And everyone else, obviously. So everyone kind of the stress level went down after that, because I'm like, yeah, I know what's up. You seem like you know what's up. And he's African American, I think, and I think that's the way he identifies. He's as dark as some of the relatives that I have from my father's side of the family, who are of Caribbean, African, Nigerian ancestry. And I never went there with him, because we're just having a nice human conversation. But as I'm getting off of the bus and I'm going home, and I say goodbye, and he says, really nice to know you. take care, have a good weekend. The bus driver is so super sweet, says the same thing. And I love Philly because overall, Philly, the people are very nice. You have a pocket just like you do in New York City, but New York City, I believe, is even bigger these days, the more I visit my home and birth town. Um, Philly is just a great, there is this brotherly level of humaneness to Philadelphians. One of the terms that I love about Philly. So, I get off the bus, I'm going home, I'm thinking about reflecting on this conversation. I get home and I'm thinking to myself, what if I didn't have green eyes or a beard? And this is the kind of conversation I have with myself every now and then. Obviously, with the beard and the green eyes, I don't have those John Wayne American Indian features, Taino features, Arawak features, or Nigerian features, or even Sephardic Jew features. Well, I think I have more of those than anything else because of the beard and the green eyes. But for people who don't really know much about me here on Facebook land and in YouTube land, because I'm putting this up on my YouTube also, if you really ask me why you identify as American Indian, is it because you want a check or a scholarship, as other people have alluded to in my life? You'll find out that, I want to connect, just like that man. I want to connect to the world. I want to know more of who I am, this is me, and this is how I live my life. This is, my rice and beans. What's on your plate? If I didn't have the green eyes, and if I didn't have the beard, if I had more prominent American Indian features, John Wayne features, would people really get it? Who I am, really? No, they wouldn't. I conclude that they wouldn't. You really have to get involved with someone. Involved meaning in a conversation. Befriending or waiting to be befriended by somebody. Especially of American Indian origin. The more that you get to know American Indians, let's put it this way. The more you get to know Italians, the more that there's different levels, varieties of Italians, shades and colors of Italians, and different ways of cooking Italian and singing Italian and loving Italian, and mindsets of Italian. The same thing goes for the whole entire human gamut of spectrums here on the earth. The same thing goes for the whole ecosystem of animals in the animal kingdoms and the plant kingdoms. I'm not saying you have to study a person, but if you go into a forest and you spend time in the forest, in the same spot, you pick a spot and you pick a tree and a rock, you go there at the same hour every day, or maybe every other day, you really get to know that your surroundings there, who lives there, what goes on there, the movements, what the animal eats in that one particular spot of that forest, park. So, where am I going with this? Well, I think it has to be stated publicly, you can't really assume and go by with the limited, and you have to know your limits also. How much of your existence is really limited by how much you want to learn about your life, where you live, the people around you on a daily basis. If you really want to know about American Indians, go to powwows. Be respectful. See how they live. See the variations of American Indians that are out there. And why do they identify as Choctaw, Sioux, Navajo, Diné, Lakota, Chippewa, Ojibwe, Seneca, Taino, Seminole, Arawak, Mixteca, Maya, Quiche. No, Quiche is a language. It's as simple as that. You just go and, you open yourself up, and then, you find your way into the conversation. And if you don't know how to converse, take simple little steps. Where do you get your eyes from? Are you really fully native? And just absorb. Don't criticize. I've had people ask me, "Really, you're Indian?" No, you're not. People will get angry with me. Those green eyes? No, you're not. Your race is not just your DNA. Your race is your culture, how you live, the tongue that your mom gave you, the way your mother fed you, the songs she taught you, the songs that your tribe taught you, that your people taught you, the love that was instilled in you and fostered in you, the stories of your ancestors, your origins, the way that you live, the way your family lives, all that passed down onto you, or if you sought it. I'm speaking from experience because I grew up wanting to be white. I grew up wanting to be different from my family. I grew up wanting, actually thinking I was white because, lighter shade of pale sometimes because of no sun or the green eyes. Or, my family was awful because they were poor, on public assistance, culturally not acceptable because Puerto Ricans were it and Dominicans were on this level, and Puerto Ricans were here, whites were here, blacks were here. But when love dictates and becomes pronounced in your life and your heart, and you want more of it, not from just your family, but out of life, out of the earth, and its encompassing system of planets and stars and comets and meteor showers and on and on and on. You have to connect to the river. You have to connect to the river of life, love. See how that life force of love really flows through everything. That one little spot in the park, in the forest that you visit every hour of the day, each day. Practice that. Try that. I used to have parks, little favorite places in New York City I would go to after school, all the time. One of my favorite things doing in New York City, and almost anywhere, still to this day, is people watching. Just standing still, some corner of the street of New York City, and just watching on what goes on for an hour or two. Just watching, observing, just becoming invisible. That's what the American people, Indian people have done throughout life. Besides learning how to surviving and protecting our families, the children, the culture, the language, our spiritual practices, our way of love, our way of life, we became invisible. We became silent. And we're still around. Especially when, I'm not going to get too political here, but, we were written out of the census for a while. So we couldn't really register as American Indians, Taino, Arawak. We either had Hispanic, black, white, I forgot the other one, Asian. So not until the people start voicing who they were did they start bringing back American Indian, and then you could put your tribal affiliation on the census. So, yeah, that's what was on my mind today. I love all my friends that I make. It's a blessing. And not all of them have to stay in my life. And I don't have to, keep connected to all of them. They become part of my world tribe. Disagreements, love affairs, breakups. I never close the door unless you're bashing me, unless you're hurting me, and I need to get away. For my own sake. I become invisible. So, yeah, I just wanted to put that out in the universe, especially for my own sake, my people's sake. That man on the bus, maybe I'll see him again and maybe he'll engage me. Want to know a little bit more about who I really am. We human beings are multifaceted. The skin is just a shell, it's a blessing. It's a gift that we're given for our energy source, our spirit, to really, materialize and create and love and learn. So, yeah. Maybe he'll find out that, I do also have an a Caribbean African ancestry. And that, I don't have a white privilege status card that I wave around. When I present myself and people identify myself, I identify myself as American Indian, Taino of the Arawak Nation. Because I know who I am today. I know where I come from. I know how I live my life, how I love, how I eat, sleep, pray, and connect to the rest of humanity. So, hashtag heal the trauma. Let's connect. Let's love. Let's uplift each other. Let's uplift the earth. Let's uplift humanity. Not the perfect future, but, learning lessons based on understanding, clarity, love. Existing as spiritual beings in human bodies, having human experiences. Or is it spiritual experiences? That's part of it. Open dialogue. We have mouths, we can speak. One of the best, and now I'll end it here, an intense one-time relationships that I've built with humans were with deaf human beings. Deaf from the ears or mute. Because psychically and from the heart, those senses have to work overtime in order to understand and connect and to clarify our intention, where we're coming from, what we're saying, and what we want. And it always begins with some level of uncomfortability. In the middle is all nice and juicy and really really funny at most of the times. And then it ends just really well. Like you don't, very long lasting memory. And it just trickles on to the next deaf person or mute person that you meet. Or even handicapped person as well. Yeah. Food for thought. Thank you everybody for tuning in and listening. If you have any questions about me personally, or getting to know American Indians and different types of American Indians, or gay and lesbian people, transgender people, because I am a bearded lady also. I can't help the beard. I was born this way. Message me privately, or, leave a comment below, or like, share, keep following me. I appreciate it. I love the feedback. I love getting to know people. I love getting to know people, just how I illustrated there. I think I've said enough. So I hope you all are having a great time. Please stay grounded, love, be yourself, share your food and knowledge. Do not let anything dull your sparkle, your light. Don't let it dim. Let it shine. Live your lives. And I'll meet you soon in the real flesh. Offline. Sooner or later. But for now, the universe has blessed us with the internet and Facebook. Why not? What a blessing, right? And the ability to talk and type and all that good stuff. So, co-create a good way of life and in the language of my people, Taino, and may the road before you be a noble one. And I hope it's filled with a lot of blessings and a lot of great people getting to know sessions. Go, 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 go.